afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another exciting edition of Go Hard with your hosts, Mikael and Mark. And
Hi
today we
everybody.
are here to feature our friend Ann Marie Burke as she tells us a little bit about her life and her personal brand. So thanks for joining us today, Ann Marie.
Thank you so much for having me, guys.
You're
Uh, is-
welcome.
yeah, you are very much welcome. So I'm the boring one, so I'll ask the boring questions. Feel free to leave in the month if you choose to, but at the end of the day, it's just questions, so you nothing to be afraid of. But I know you
Okay.
you you well
That's right.
seasoned, so no problem.
Actually, it's very strange being on the opposite end, being the interviewee and not the interviewer. But
Yeah.
hey,
I know, I thought about that.
yeah, it feels good to be on the other side for a change.
Okay, wonderful.
Yes, that's what the left shoe said to the right shoe. Yeah, it did. But let me
Yeah.
start before you get too corny, right? We'll jump right into it. So Miss Burke. Sorry, Anne
Oh,
Marie. Sorry, right,
yeah.
right. Anne Marie,
Wrong
where did
bar.
you, sorry, where did you grow up? Now,
Well, I grew up in St. Philip. Actually, Seaview Park in St. Philip is where I actually grew up,
yeah.
and I am right through. Both my parents are from St. Philip. I currently reside in St. Philip. My plan is to not leave St. Philip, so I am a true country girl.
Not a
Mm,
come, yeah.
Not to come here, a true Philippine.
he's a Philippine.
Right.
That's nice. My family's from St. Philip as well. I grew up in St. Philip as well.
Okay,
We
And
right.
have a real
So
St. Philip connection on this show. So
yeah,
far,
there's
90,
so,
95% of our people have been from St. Philip. Wow.
yeah,
that's
I wonder if that's a coincidence.
Can be.
definitely,
You know, they say St. Philip is the best parish, but
of course, the Republic of Saint Philip.
right,
Hmm.
correct. You
Hmm.
got your own governor general, and okay, you got a king, you got Calypso king, prime minister. Wait, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we had
Everything.
everything. We had everything.
Mm.
Wow.
So then,
Something
did you
special.
did you go to school in St. Philip or as well, or where did you attend school?
Actually,
Marie?
yes, I went to school in St. Philip. Ironically, I went to three primary schools
Three.
because my mother was a teacher and she's
Mm-hmm.
retired now. And my first school was Ebenezer Primary. It doesn't really exist right now, but
Mm-hmm.
I spent like the first 2 years of school at Ebenezer. Then, being a teacher's child, the children used to take that to their advantage. It's like every little thing I do, they want to go to mommy and tell mommy. And she realized I wasn't ready, taken to having her in that environment with me. So
Mm-hmm.
then she transferred me over to Shrewsbury Primary. Then Shrewsbury lasted about 2 years after that, and then amalgamated with Bailey's Primary, and I finished off primary school at Bailey's Primary.
Okay.
Um, Secondary school, I'm a Carmarian.
Oh
Up and down.
boy.
Yeah, we won't hold that against you.
All right, Harrisonians. But Colbert is obviously where I did my secondary education, right through from first form up to sixth form. And then I went over to UW Mona in Jamaica for 3 years. And
Hmm.
then I did my postgrad at KFL. So that's basically school for me.
You went to school a long time, girl.
Yeah, boy, I was at school for quite a while. I
Mm-hmm.
love it
Yeah,
though. I'm
you
an
hadn't.
undercover nerd, so
You.
I'm looking now to see which doctorate I can pick up. So I feel I'm missing the books right now.
That's
Okay.
great.
Yeah.
Well, now is probably the best time to get back into studying because most of us have to spend a lot of time home too.
It's true.
So
It is true. Because I've been working from home through this entire period. So being home and in the books will almost come as natural right now. So it's just to look to see exactly what direction I will go in.
Mm-hmm.
right.
So you had a nickname coming up or anything like that, Amory?
I had a number of nicknames coming up. My family called me Buffy.
Oh,
Buffy is my nickname for my family.
Uh-huh.
they still call
Um,
you that?
call me Buffy. Some of them still call me
Still?
Buffy. Up to now, they still call me Buffy. my father,
Yes.
my father calls me Annie Baby Girl. I
Cause you
still get the
what?
Annie Baby,
That's not bad. That's
Annie
not bad.
Baby Girl.
Mm.
That's Daddy.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Mommy still calls me Buffy too. So basically, those were the two names. In school, I didn't really have a nickname per se,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I would say those are the two nicknames I had growing up.
any curricular activities, extracurricular activities at school?
My mother used to beg me to give her a break. I was in guides, key club, track and field, netball, volleyball, you name it. Every day I had a different extracurricular activity. So every day I would leave school anytime after 4, 5 o'clock. So I was very, very active in school.
That's
Mhm.
cool. So so then when you were going to school, before you even went into university, you had an idea about what you wanted to be, as people say, what you want to be when you grew up?
Definitely. I think I went through the phase of every child who wanted to be a doctor. But
Hmm.
then that was very, very short. And immediately I wanted to do journalism to the point where my mother would quarrel with me because I would take Searchlight, the torchlight, take
Hmm.
the newspaper, sit
Uh-huh.
on their bed because their bed was in line with the mirror and read the Sunday Sun as if I was reading news.
Gee, that was from what age?
I think I started that maybe from like second form or so. And
Oh,
I just knew from then that was it. So I was destined to just get into journalism.
right.
Clearly, clearly.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it was a different. What was that process like? That was that like really challenging? Was it very demanding, or it just fit into who you were?
Initially, when I left Jamaica, I went into the Advocate, the Barbados Advocate at first as an
Mhm.
editorial executive. I didn't go straight into mainstream journalism. And while there, it was basically about editing the pages, planning the pages, even the graphical part of it. So
Mhm.
that was my first introduction per se into the whole realm of journalism. I would say in Barbados because I did internships at Air Jamaica and in the public relations department, as
Mhm.
well as RJR in their news department. But coming into mainstream media, it was first print as an
Mhm.
editorial executive. But then the opening came for a sports report at CBC. I had left the Advocate and I decided I would try it.
Mhm.
And I went and I applied. And it was difficult because I ended up being the first female and the only female in the department when I joined sports. So it
Mhm.
was this big phenomenon like a female in sports. And CBC gave me the opportunity. I took it and it worked out pretty well.
That is nice. That is really very good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
As a piece
It
of
wasn't
history.
it wasn't hard because before I left Jamaica, the call came from the Advocate asking were there any students from Barbados graduating in journalism. So I kind of
Oh,
left school already having a job.
okay,
Mhm.
that's
I didn't have
cool.
to really come home and hunt for a job. And
Mhm.
then it was only like the transition between the Advocate and CBC
CBC.
that I really had like a 1 year layoff or so. And then I went right into journalism. So I never really had a problem getting into it.
So,
Okay.
how long
Nice.
you were at CBC?
Today, June the 11th, marks 15 years. I
Wow.
yes, I've been in CBC. I can't believe it's 15 years. It doesn't feel like 15 years.
Yeah.
I can still remember the first days of going in. I've been totally scared,
Mhm.
totally shy,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
now not so shy anymore or not so scared anymore.
Mhm.
So
That means you've been enjoying your years there.
I have been. They've been challenging. I do work in a boys' club still. That's the reality of the situation.
Right.
It is
Mhm.
still a boys' club. So I
Mhm.
still have to fight my way through this job quite often. But I can't say every day is a challenge, but every day is a different challenge. And that's what I like about my job.
Mhm.
You have any advice for any young person, especially females, if they that would might be interested or thinking about what to do in life, might be considering a career in journalism? Have any advice for them?
The reality is with journalism, you have to love your job. If you don't love it, don't come into it just because it's
Hmm.
not the easiest of jobs to have. It's time consuming. It is challenging on a number of levels. Your personal life is no longer yours from the time you get out into the public realm. So you are
Mhm.
constantly walking in your job,
Hmm.
and so it's almost like a 24-hour job. But if you do want to get into journalism, you have to have it as a passion and not necessarily you're coming into it just because.
So then let me ask you, unless you want to say something, Mikhail?
No, I was just saying that's very interesting. I didn't even, didn't really occur to me, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think people see it as, you can go, you get information, you come back, you put it together. But if you
Hmm.
don't have if you don't have a passion for a football game and you are just there waiting for the goals to score, you're
Mm-hmm.
going to miss all the extra things that you should look at, which is how the crowd has been reacting, if it was supposed to be a goal or not a goal. So if you don't have the passion or even the understanding for sports, I
Mm-hmm.
think that's the first foundation that you really, really need.
So then let me